What's up, traders? This is Vee Trades, and today we'll be doing a technical analysis breakdown for strategy with the ticker symbol MSTR. I will first be going over what I see in the daily chart and finish the video off with the weekly chart. This video is for entertainment purposes only. Please trade at your own risk. So let's take a look at MSTR today, and it was another down day. Unfortunately, price did gap up higher at the 249.96 level, and it traded down all the way pretty much practically into the close with a slight move up higher off of the 234 level. So maybe we are just retesting that support level of 237. As you can see here, price had a failed breakdown lower, a move up higher. We could be maybe retesting that level and then moving up higher. If you look at like maybe the 4-hour chart, it'll show it a little bit better. So you see how we broke below this level, broke above, and we're holding it. So it could be a little delayed in this breakout, meaning instead of like rocketing up higher like this, it wants to maybe retest the breakout and then continue higher. So that's what the bulls are hoping for. But again, that's not a good sign still, because you see that it's kind of decoupling from Bitcoin. It has been decoupling for a while now, but even today, right, even shows even more decoupling, right? Bitcoin being up and then MSTR still having a down day. So overall, the trend is still in play, right? The trend is still down, and the momentum is still down. So even though you do see bullish signs, it may not be enough to override that momentum. Think of it as like a scale, right? You know, you see those scales kind of that look like this, or let me see. It looks like, you know, you have the pan right here and then the arm like this. So think of a scale like this, and all this is the bearish side right here, the bearish side, and all this is the bullish side, right? We have all the bull side here. So put everything bullish in here, technically, and then put everything bearish in here, technically, and then what are you going to get? Well, this side is still going to be lower, right? So let's just lower it down. So this side is going to be lower than the bull side. Even though we see the bull side, you can add in a little bit more today from Friday's move, right? It's still overweighing to the downside, the momentum. So overall, yes, we just see a failed breakout lower, and we can't really say it's failed with certainty because obviously it can still just continue lower, but momentarily it definitely has failed, right? Because we see price break down lower, run the stops, trap in shorts, and then move up higher. But overall, it's still below the trend line, still below the EMA, still in this downward channel, still below the 300 level, still below the 327 level, still below the 360 level, still below the 427 level, still below the all-time highs. So obviously, in a trend, to be an uptrend, you need to see higher highs and higher lows. And all of a sudden, you know, this is actually a significant low if you think about it, right? I mean, this low was back here in March, and we just made a new one. So, you know, if you really think about it, we're making lower highs and lower lows. Especially with this much time, you know, that's not a good sign, right? So overall, you know, just people are not sure whether to buy right now and then ride the trend up or wait for lower prices. And the technicals tell you that. And as of right now, the technicals aren't screaming, you know, a strong buy, you know, to me. I still think there's a lot of headwinds in the way on the technical front. Long term, I think this company will do very well, but we're not talking about long term, right? If you're a long term trader, then, if you're a long term trader, then it doesn't really matter what's happening right now. But what really matters is getting at a better price, right? There's a big difference between buying right now and holding for 3 to 4 years than buying at $100 or $50 and holding for 3 to 4 years, right? Which one would you rather have? I personally rather buy, you know, sub $100 this stock and then hold for 3 years instead of buying it right now and then holding, right? What is the reward from here? Maybe we go up to back to 428. I don't think we will. Maybe, just maybe, we make a new all-time high. I don't think we will either, right? It's really just decoupling from Bitcoin. So even with Bitcoin moving up higher, it's not really moving up higher. So let's just say best case scenario, most likely scenario is we go back up to the 400s, right? Well, you know, you're risking the potential for a huge drop still in the future, right? Because we don't have to go up. It's still more likely we go down. So MSTR, you know, that's what I see for today, right? It's it's a possible back test, but You want to see more than this. You want to see like a V bottom reversal. Whenever price breaks a level, you want to see it reverse immediately, not taking its time. So we'll see what happens. But overall, that's still what I see in the chart, right? Still hasn't broken the bearish trend line, but we are bouncing. And again, when it gets too low and we start seeing a decoupling significantly, like we are seeing, like we have seen, it could turn into like a Metaplanet. Like Metaplanet is the 4th ranked Bitcoin treasury company. They have 30,000 Bitcoin. If you just ignore strategy, they're the 3rd ranked Bitcoin treasury company. And they're down 80% from the highs. From this high to current price, 77%. At one point, it was 80%, right? 79%. So this is completely going to not move up higher, even if Bitcoin moves up higher, right? Even if Bitcoin doubles, this thing can maybe go what? Like, it could also double actually, but I'm not looking for that. I don't think it will. It's definitely not going to make a new high. It's just decoupled, and investors for this stock and traders for this stock probably have to wait for next cycle for this to, make a new high. Anything that moves 80% down is not in a bull trend any longer. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is, trying to break through that 107, 108 level. That's the level I want to see broken. If we can see a strong push through that, right about here, 107, 500, a strong push through that, and also a strong push through this bearish trend line because we're kind of right near it, and price got slightly rejected from it today, but it looks like we're starting to recover. So it looks like we're got a little bit of rejection there. If you probably look in the 4-hour, it'll make more sense. So you see that we did get a slight rejection, but we're seeing buyers step back in. So that looks like it could be a short trap. Imagine traders going short right here. They'll put the stop losses above the candles, right? They'll put the stop losses over here at these levels. And with a little rejection, it could be a trap for a move up higher. So it's not something you would want to go short against. So it looks like Bitcoin could be possibly making a pop up higher. And I've said it before in my other videos. I was looking for about November 8th to be like a bottom, and right around 93,000, but it actually bottomed earlier, which is a very bullish sign. Measure move targets tell you a lot. These are very reliable instruments or tools to use. So we have one leg down right here, and then price practically made 2 exact legs up. One leg up right here, second leg up, right? None of this is random price action. The market is not random. What is random is what it might do in the future, but it doesn't print anything randomly in the chart. Like, we're not going to see a move up higher towards 131, right? Imagine price just had a huge green candle towards 131. That's probably not going to happen. Or when the bar closes, we see a gap up, right, to like 200,000. Like, it doesn't move randomly, right? The market is not doing random things. This is calculated price. So anyway, we had one leg down, practically 2 exact measured legs up, started the second leg down descent. This was the first attempt to reach it that failed by the bears. This was the second attempt, and it failed as of right now because we're seeing price move up higher. And typically, you'll just see 2 attempts to reach a measurement target at $93,000. So we had 2 attempts. It looks like it's failing, and that could lead to a strong reversal in the opposite direction. Keyword is it could, doesn't mean it will. So this is a good sign, right, for the bulls that we had 1 leg down, 2 legs up, another leg down, a couple attempts to hit it. Bears failed, which shows lost momentum. If they were able to make a leg down this size in history, why are they not able to do it again? That's what the measurement tells you. They're not as strong as they once were. If they were able to make a move down this size and magnitude, why are we not able to see that again? It shows signs of strength by the bulls, signs of weakness by the bears, which can lead to a reversal to the upward direction, right? So that's what the target is. That's what this tells me. This is a good sign. It looks like it could be a fail break lower of this range pattern. And typically, the pattern has played out numerous times before. We had a range, fail break down lower, and then a huge rally. Happened like 3 times before, 3 times in a row, right? This is the 4th potential time. And in roulette, you have hot numbers, and a lot of people, don't like to pick hot numbers because they don't think it's going to happen again. Like, what are the chances the hot number is going to happen again? So they pick the cold numbers. The cold numbers are numbers that never even appeared in the past, I think 50 rolls. And then it keeps on happening, right? You're like, oh, eventually it'll happen. Well, that's just not how things work, right? So a lot of things happen. Things that happen continue to happen, and things that don't happen don't really happen until they do. That's pretty much the market in a nutshell, right? It'll just continue to do what it has been doing until it doesn't. And as right now, it's a pretty on track pattern. This thing right here is the same as this thing, and this thing is the same as this thing. So we had a range, fail breakdown lower, fail breakdown lower, fail breakdown lower. And then what do you get after that? Rally, rally. It's setting up for another rally. I mean, it looks like it will, right? Doesn't mean it is guaranteed to do it, but it looks like it will, especially with not reaching the measurable target in the short term. And then last but not least, let's take a look at Bitcoin's the ratio of Bitcoin's price divided by MSTR's price. Nice bounce up higher, right? It came to this bullish trend line. So you can see that this is just a ratio chart, and look how well it's like following technicals. Like, this is not a stock. This is not a commodity. This is not a currency. This is not a bond. This is not real estate. Like, it's still a market, right? Well, it's still a chart. And the chart is still following technical analysis, right? It's having higher highs, higher lows. It's making measurable targets. It's being supported by trend lines, right? EMA is pointing out this is a chart you can analyze. And what the chart is telling me is that the trend is getting steeper, right? So we had this angle right here, and then we went in a steeper trend line and then a steeper trend line. What does this mean? It means that we're possibly going for a blow off top, which means that Bitcoin will largely outperform MSTR in the coming months. That's what it's telling me, right? It doesn't mean it will, but you can clearly see that the trend is getting stronger since we had a low back here in November of last year. We had this first angle of attack, then the second angle, and then a third angle, right? So the trend is getting steeper. It doesn't mean we won't break this trend line and come back to the other one. We can, and then move up higher. But it looks like, as right now, kind of like a parabolic run up, right? So as right now, the trend is getting steeper, and it kind of coincides with Bitcoin really diverging from MSTR, because again, MSTR is in a bear market while Bitcoin is still in a bull market, right? So this is definitely a bear market. It's not really an uptrend any longer. Uptrend kind of pretty much terminated right here, and since then we've been in a bear trend. This is a bearish trend. This is just a correction, right, or a failed breakout. This is not that bad, right? This is not that much damage. This stock has gone under a lot of damage. So it does align with Bitcoin hugely outperforming MSTR in the coming months. And that kind of coincides with it, kind of moving up higher and then MSTR lagging, right? Not really performing as well. And this could run up to 638. That is the prior breakout level. If you look on the weekly chart for that, you can see how well this look how many green bars we have. We have 4 consecutive green bars in a row. So there's a lot of strength in this ratio, right? It means that Bitcoin is outperforming MSTR. It's taking more MSTR shares to buy one Bitcoin. Currently, it takes 440 shares. And now it looks like it's going to take 638 shares, which means that either Bitcoin goes up substantially, which I think is going to happen, or MSTR goes down substantially. Or both of them can go up together, but that means that Bitcoin most likely will outperform MSTR. So as right now, this looks pretty strong, right? I think everyone would be like, oh, okay, this chart looks pretty bullish. If you just ignore the title and you just look at the chart, you would say this is a bull trend, and you would also agree that it's getting steeper and stronger, right? It's getting more momentum, more energy is coming into the stock. And it looks like it's probably going to run up to 550s, maybe even 638, which is prior resistance right over here. This double bottom that happened, and we saw that fail breakdown lower. And also, I think that's probably where this trend line is at. Let me zoom out even further. So drag a trend line across. We even broke through the bearish trend line. So there was a bearish trend line, and then we even broke through that. So I think I've showed this before on a lot of older videos. So again, we'll see if we get that or not. I'm bullish in Bitcoin. I have Bitcoin. I'm waiting for one more leg up higher. MSTR I'm out of, but I'm willing to buy back in at lower prices and ride up the next cycle, right? If I get this at, let's just, theorize what can happen, right? Let's just say we have topped and we are going into a bear market low. Where can it go, right? Well, let's take a look at the weekly chart, because I haven't looked at that yet. So we'll look at the weekly chart, wrap up the video. Multiple red weeks in a row. You can see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, potentially 6. 6 red weeks in a row is not a good sign, right? That's not a good sign. Anyway, it's headed towards 150. We'll see if it gets there, and potentially it can get to $100, right? High to current price is 56% drop. The measurement target is at 152, 72%. Just that 80% drop, 81% is $100. Metaplanet just dropped 80%. You don't think MSTR will? Think again, right? So high to 80%, which is likely $100, $105, right? Let's just say $100 just to round it off. So let's say you buy this stock for $100 and you really believe in it, and Bitcoin is going to be going to millions of dollars in the future and blah, 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 blah. Well, if you buy it $100, well, I think possibly next cycle, I mean, you should at least see the all-time high, right? So that's a 5x. I think you should at least see the all-time high. That's more than the 5x. Potentially $1,000, right? So you can 10x your money. Again, these are all just theoretical things, right? You can go to even lower. It might not even recover, blah, 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 blah. I'm just saying what's more likely to happen. I'm saying it's still likely to go up higher in the next cycle, right? So let's just say you get $100, maybe even $50, right? I'm just saying let's just use $100. It goes up to all-time high, that's 5x. It goes up to $1,000, most likely it's going to exceed the prior high. It'll go to $1,000, right? That's a 10x. Can you believe that? You put in $20,000, you walk away with 200,000. You put in $25,000 at $100, you walk away with potentially $250,000 in less than 3 to 4 years. We'll see if it happens. Again, these are just numbers I'm playing with, but it doesn't really have to play out like that. It could be totally different, but it's just theoretical. But anyway, that's all I have for MSTR and Bitcoin. Bitcoin on the weekly chart and slightly recovering. We'll see what happens. It might need the government shutdown to be lifted for a catalyst if it can't do it itself. It's kind of taking its time. Let's see what tomorrow brings. This candle is about to close soon. Let's see what the next candle brings. It can make up quick ground. This is, we're still forgetting that this is Bitcoin, right? It can make up quick ground. We can get up to all-time highs by the end of this month, maybe in a week. We can get to all-time highs in a week. So a lot of people are, kind of throwing in the towel, thinking we have top. But I mean, it's still looking okay as long as we don't like roll over really far, like into the $80,000 level. Then it's probably over because that's not looking good for a correction anymore, right? It's looking like a reversal. But again, we'll see what happens. That's all I have for Bitcoin and MSTR. This is Vee Trades, and thank you for your time.